Okay, second power. Anyone would like to guess what was the second power?
Power to tolerance.
Is it really tolerance?
That's not the second one.
No.
So if any of you guess it well, on the yoga day, Jayshree Ben will give you extra packs of lunch.
Power to judge. Power to judge.
Power to let go.
Power to let
Power
go.
to let go.
Power to judge.
Is it
Power-
judge yet? Okay, second is power to let go. What was the third?
Power to
Power to
tolerate.
Learn.
Tolerate.
And the fourth?
Power to accommodate.
Good. So you can go and, I don't know, maybe Jayshree Ben, if she didn't keep track, you can go and say, I won the quiz. So I get an extra pack of lunch. Okay, so today as I said, we will discuss on power to discern. Before that, let us go into meditation and settle down. So I'm going to mute all of you. And then after the meditation, we can share. I'll put Baba on screen. So sit down comfortably in a comfortable position. And if you're holding anything physically, just keep it all aside. Let us just settle down internally. And let me create a purpose now of why I want to be here today in this class. What is it that I truly want to learn? So for a few moments, bring your attention, your focus to yourself. If there are any thoughts that comes in your mind right now, gently say later. Now, let me reflect back into my life. Throughout my entire journey of life, let me check all those words that I spoke, responses that I gave, the actions that I did. Am I happy with how I have behaved, responded to people and situations? Or is there room for me to learn, maybe to be more patient, or to be more courageous to open up and speak, or to be more tolerant of people and accepting them? Throughout my life, the choices that I made the decisions that I made was entirely what I decided. It was my choice. Sometimes I could have made a wrong choice, and I learned the lesson that I was supposed to learn. Or sometimes I could have made the right choice and created beautiful memories. And now moving forward, I would like to develop this art of being able to look through options, look at situations rationally, and be able to make my own decision of what is best for me without being misled by others. I want to decide for myself in my life, not out of ego, but truly I have mastered the art of discerning. And today, this will be my purpose. What is it that I need to do? So moving forward, I will make better choices. Moving forward, I am more aware of my internal need, so I'm not easily influenced by anyone. I will learn to be strong today. I will learn to be smart today. And I'm ready. Om Shanti. Om Shanti, everyone.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Shanti.
I'll come back.
Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
It's always nice to see smiling faces, even if it's the end of the work week. So, and all of you look fresh, so that's good. So today's power to discern. It's also an art, I would really say, to be able to look through choices and make right decisions. Because throughout our life, we always need to make decisions. Either I make my decision or someone makes a decision for me. But I don't want someone to make a decision for me. Do you? Do you want someone to shape your
No.
life?
No. No.
Yeah. We definitely, in our right mind, we say no, but we have to really check. There could be sometimes, knowingly or unknowingly, we allow people to shape our life and perspectives. You know, like one simple example is when we do something and we're not sure or we're not happy, we'll probably ask 5 or 10 people, that I did this because this person did that. Isn't it correct? We try to convince them that we are the victim and what I did is right, and we expect them to, to support us and say, yeah, you're right, you should be doing this. Why? Because maybe internally I myself am not feeling good about the decision I made or the action that I get. And that is why I probably go on from one person to another person to get validation. Because if I'm absolutely sure of what I did, I wouldn't be needing validation. So this is a very, like I said, we don't do this intentionally, but this is also a way of giving someone else to decide for me, someone else to influence their opinions on my life and dictate my responses. So, having gone through the other four powers, the prerequisites before this power, so I'm going to first invite Jayshree Ben. Would you like to? You can share first, and then, as usual, my territory is sharing experience. I love sharing experiences, so I'm gonna give the theory part to Jayshree Ben because she does it very well.
Hello, girls. Guys too, I don't know how many, but all of you, right? This is a very nice power, very important power. After first four powers, we are rising above the scale. That's how it is. Power to withdraw is like the basic power we need to protect ourselves, right? The second power, because we are, once you are protected, understood the other person's angle, that helps us protect. Going away from the role identity to our soul identity, that helps to protect, right? So we have gathered that. Now you're protected, you are protected. Now you can do anything you want because you're not gonna get damaged. So you control your damage. That's the power to withdraw, power to protect. Second thing is power to pack up, power to let go. Let everything go, all the burden goes away. You become so light, carrying so many heavy bags with you, but just take life's tiny little backpack. Our airlines help us to do that nowadays, travel light. And that's what, any baggage, anything happening 5 minutes ago or 50 years ago, let go. That's power to let go. You feel so light, right? The third thing, what you can do is, once you are light and have protected yourself, you open up to the divine world. You start opening up to tolerate everybody because you understand them. It doesn't bother you. You protected yourself. It doesn't bother you. You don't store anything what was happening in the past. So now your real qualities start coming out and you start giving. That's power to tolerate. That means you consider anybody or any situation as an opportunity. It's not a situation anymore. You are clear in your mind, it's an opportunity to show your goodness. So once you start understanding this is my opportunity to show my goodness, how can I let it go? Then you realize what to do and you start giving. Then you start, once you have the taste of giving, you will not want any other taste. You will love to give because it feels so good inside. And that is a real, genuine pleasure. Driving Mercedes or being in a big car or going to a traveling place, short term. This is a long-term benefit. Like Sister Shivani says, or most of the places now, they talk about, what do they talk about? They say that we are going to experiment. Spirituality cannot be tested in the laboratory, cannot be tested by the blood. Spirituality cannot be done that way, right? There is no test for it. Only way you can test that it exists or it is good or not is by experimenting. So this is what we want to do, is experiment. And that's what, when you start experimenting, the joy of giving, joy of creation, joy of doing that, you will automatically start understanding the sattvikness, the real pure divine part of the enjoyment. Then you will start, other things will be slowly going away. The importance of other people's opinions, the importance of what you have, showing off, what are the opinions of the other people, and driving a beautiful car versus beautiful house, living. All those things are necessary, comfort, but the attachment to that will not be there. If somebody says bad things to me, but if I'm truthful to myself and I'm very happy, good, you take that criticism, see if there is anything to learn from that, and understand their point of view, protect yourself, pass it on, let it go, learn, make it as a teacher. The past is a teacher, and move it on. Now you all know how much knowledge have you accumulated. Actually, I would consider a step further, that if any situation comes, it shapes us. It teaches us more. Our knowledge, 7 qualities of the soul, right? Everybody knows. Remember, if you want to remember, this is how I remember. On P, there are 3 on P, letter P: peace, purity, and power. Then there are 2 related to the happiness and bliss. And then there are 2 related to knowledge and love. So these are the 7 beautiful qualities. Every single soul has them. Everyone has it. Okay, so what you do is that try to go ahead and start feeling them. Okay, I'm going to test this one today. I'm going to test my love. All right, so I had an incident this morning, right? I mean, in the afternoon. My husband, like Rashmi, like your husband did, my husband said, I'm not coming. I like him to be and listening to this as a support, right? And he doesn't do any of my yoga classes, but he has done listening to the lectures before. But he didn't do it. He didn't do it one time before. And so he says, I'm not coming, I'm playing golf. Okay. Even I like to play golf. So I don't get to play golf, number one, because he now goes and plays the other one. And he's not there to support me in the lecture, right? So the immediate reaction in my mind, second, that you are not supporting me. Okay. It should be here, not only for me, for the family's sake. You should send out the message to the kids that listen to mom and learn from that. You know, mom has a lot to share, right? All those things, my expectations, right? So it did momentarily hurt me. I did react on the text. Then I gathered myself, I protected myself. I understood his point of view. I let go, and then I became smart, that this is my opportunity to show my goodness, right? So that's how I'm going to tolerate this. So it's not tolerating, it's giving. So I sent a text saying, I'm very sorry, I reacted instead of responding. I felt light, and situation is not worsening or anything in my mind, at least. It doesn't matter what happens, right? So in my mind, these things happen all the time. So yesterday, another thing I would say, I'm working on the remodeling my home, the home, and working with the workers and all the time. And I'm a person who loves to create. So I've created a lot of designs, a lot of things, how to make an efficient thing and all those things. So I'm the one who's dealing. So now there is so much demolition and junk in the garage. So I had called the truck to bring the demolition, to take some of the garage, and he was going to do a few trips. He doesn't have a huge truck. So I said, okay, sometimes I like to help smaller vendors rather than big companies, because they make money. They need more money than the other big ones. It helps me in the saving some money, but I sometimes give them bonuses. So what happens is that it gives to them a little more business. And that's how my philosophy is. I will almost always buy from smaller vendors than the bigger ones, because I believe that I can help those businesses more than the other ones. That's been my philosophy in India too. It doesn't look like, oh, I have to buy from this big store. Those things don't attach me. I don't have to say, oh, I bought it from here and get somebody's validation for me to feel happy. So luckily, I don't have that from the beginning. So here, this guy comes. He's coming from Moreno Valley and then coming from far. So he probably chose the time to come at 8 o'clock in the morning. The traffic is pretty good, and I mean pretty heavy on the 91 freeway. And then he thought, no, it will come faster. Then his anticipation was, he said, oh, it took me more than an hour. He was so angry. Okay. And so I'm not, I came here and you're so much. So he's mad at everything. He's already not happy because of the traffic. Now he sees that you have so many junks. I'm not going to come and do many rounds. It's too much and this and that. So I just gently told him nicely. I was calm and collected, protected. I didn't have any kind of, I was just observing him that look, how many people are unhappy, how many people are ignorant. More than unhappy is ignorance. You know what? I just started saying it. I said, it happened, right? It happened. You probably anticipated less garbage. I sent him pictures and everything I gave him. And then he still, and then the traffic was this, right? And you chose 8 hours, 8 o'clock in the morning. So I said, things happen, right? Then he's, yeah, but this, then slowly, I said, what you gonna do now? You want to continue to be upset? Or you're gonna go ahead and not affect your body? Slowly, I don't know what words I said and what I said, but since my vibrations were not judgmental, since my vibrations were not putting him down, I think somehow something worked on him. And in few minutes, he was very calm and very good and very helpful. So his real self started coming in. I asked him for food and water, and what I usually do with workers. I did all those things. And then when he was leaving, I said, I'm a doctor. And then then he said, you know what? This is going to hurt your body. The way you react when you think like this. You're not protecting yourself. You're not. Things what happens will happen. Next time you take a time when there is no traffic. I'll be available anytime you want to come. If you want to make another round, I'll pay you again. And all those things. But you will not believe the different person he was. See? So that's exactly, and it makes us feel good. So he gave me an opportunity, right? The situation I could have gotten. In the beginning, I started getting a little bit, why is he like that? Then I calmed down myself. I reacted. I understood his point of view. I did not want to react to him. And I started responding. This was just yesterday. And then it was nice for me to even share with my kids because I like to keep teaching them. They are at that age yet that they don't believe too much into this. They believe, but not in their priorities, right? So this is sometimes, so I shared with them whatever can go in their mind. Like we have learned ourselves from so many things from our parents' behaviors, right? So it's nice to just keep sharing with them. So these are the things, this is where the powers help. So if I didn't have that opportunity, I wouldn't have practiced, I wouldn't have shared. So that's an opportunity. So you want to make sure that these are the opportunities. Once you start looking at the things differently, at the different angle, you start seeing yourself being transformed. You start getting transformed slowly and steadily. You don't even know that people may start noticing that, oh, she's changing, but that's not important. Whether they notice or not is not important. We feel good when we are not carrying packages, when we know some of the illnesses start getting better, some of the things get better, but that's not the purpose. Purpose is no option. This is the only way to be happy and live life. Because the only smart way. Why would you just go ahead and say 2 + 2 is not 4 and you say 3? It's your loss when you gotta go and add it up. So once we start understanding, I think everybody's smart enough to know the benefits. And once you start seeing the benefits out of these things, then those situations don't upset anybody. They get better. And those things help in the life so much. So that's the power to tolerate. When you give and you're giving more, and that's why I wrote down in my invitation and instructions, come in a service mode, not in a judgmental mode. What did she do? What did she do? What is somebody's doing asana properly or not? Or what is Jayshree been teaching? I know better than this. Or Sonaji teaching. Sister Vino Ben is talking. I already heard. I already know Raj Yoga meditation. I've taken multiple courses. What does all these things do to us? Right? All these things only deplete your energy. And when you deplete your energy, are you smart? Who wants to deplete the energy? Who wants to get affected emotionally? Who wants to get affected by and what do you gain? Is there anything on the positive side? That, okay, these are negatives, what is on positive side? Uncluttered mind is not there. Mind gets cluttered. Parchintan. What does parchintan do? Diminish your time, your energy, everything. In your profit section, profit and loss, not there. Now, so once you know that, you're going to go ahead and take these opportunities all the time. So now when my husband comes, I'm trying to think how I'm going to go ahead and not let myself bother, not anything, but not to even feel that there is any kind of hidden agenda. So it has to be really pure and nice and clear, as if things didn't happen. Breathe through it. That's the higher way of tolerance. Remember, we talked about 3 different grades of tolerance. So this is breathing through. I didn't breathe through, I got affected a little bit. So, but now I can breathe through, right? So that's how you grow. And that's how what happens. Then comes power to accompany. Now he's being very smart. Get some business partners. Not only you. Get everybody's intelligence. Get everybody's experience. Rather than pushing them down. And you come up. You don't want to make your line small, their line smaller to make your line bigger. You increase your line. Then you're bigger. But is that the goal? Make your line bigger than them? No. Make their lines bigger. That's the teamwork. Now, two big lines can do things together. When you bring somebody up, that person is always going to love you. And then 2 loves better than 1. So bring everybody in. Accommodate. Adjust. Understand them. Use their thinking. And then you grow so much. Now, if your mind is uncluttered, you are in a giving mode. You forgot about what happened in the past. You protected yourself. How is your divine going to be? That's the power to discern. Now, power to discern is use your intelligence, divine intelligence. Power to discern means power to know. Parak. Parak. You know, there is a song in Hindi, right? क्या कौन कौन से पानी में सबकी है पहचान मुझे. That मनोज कुमार का song है ना. कौन कौन है इस पानी में सबकी है पहचान मुझे. Right? So we have pehchan. Okay, this person is behaving this person is behaving this way, this person is talking bad about me behind me, this person is doing this person is phonily doing phony praise of me. All those things will come to you. Everything will come in front of you. And then what would you do? Take all them as an opportunities to show your goodness to every one of them. There will be always person bad mouthing, always jealous, always, but that's not my problem. My problem is to lower their jealousy. How? By sending them the blessings. But if I'm not in a way to send blessings, how am I going to go ahead and send blessings? There's no way I can send blessings if I'm not pure myself. Right? So it's again for you. If you want less person to be jealous of you, less person to say bad about you, it's also a benefit, right? But that's not the goal. That's not why we do it. We do it for what reason? Because that's how it should be. That's it. There's no option. Because the only way to progress is 2 + 2 is 4. It's not, there's no way you can progress any other way. So once you know and connect with your divine intellect, when you are clean in your mind, you connect with the divine intellect. And the tools we are using, yoga, meditation, is connecting. The slow stretches we did today is connecting with the divine, connecting through your nervous system to the divine. And you have to develop a trust, which was hard for me. I'm not a very religious person, though I grew up in a very religious family. I'm a more of an evidence-based medicine. There has to be evidence for me to believe. And since the religion does not seem to have many evidences, and blind faith requires kind of blind faith, but once I start trusting and knowing it, that there is something higher, there is something which is guiding me. So there is a guiding light. You can call it your Bhagwan, you call it Atma, you call it Supreme Soul, you can call anything or you don't call anything, but you'll start connecting to them only when you have, you have cleared up all your 4 powers and when you're looking for profit all around. So then that power will work, and what happens? That you will consult that particular Supreme In any situation happens, you consult, like Sister Vino always says, right? Baba told me this, Baba told me this, Baba told me this, Baba suggested me that. That's the divine connection. And that's what we have to experiment. We are not going to go ahead and know unless we experiment. And that's why spirituality can be only taught by experiments to ourselves. We cannot teach anybody else if we don't experiment. So experimenting these powers will automatically teach you, and then you'll be the first believer because you experimented. If you have done the blood test of somebody or read about the statistics on the evidences and everything, but you never had a cancer, but you know this treatment works, you listen. But here, if you had a cancer and if you took the treatment and if you got better, you believe in the treatment the most, right? Reading or anything. Same thing. Here, you experiment because there is no test available. For physical parts, there are no tests available. So what should we do? We should just go ahead and definitely experiment. So experimenting the divine thing will come after purity of 4 flowers. And then it's compared with Gayatri Mataji, who is riding on the swan, Hans. Hans is a symbol of intelligence, Buddhi. Hans is considered very intelligent animal. And that's why they consider that as a symbolic way of Hans. So your intelligence will shine through because everybody has those 7 qualities I just mentioned. One of them is knowledge. Whatever knowledge you have gotten as when you were infant, when you think what the children here, 2 months old, 3 months old, or 5 years old, they don't know. It stores, every single experience creates the neurons. This is 100% medically proven that it's there. So you are bandar of knowledge yourself. There's so much knowledge from what you got from the birth to now, or even previous lives. So much knowledge. But we cannot expose to understand it unless we let go all the layers on top. So once you let go all the layers of your top, your inner sense, your inner divine connection within your intelligence will shine. And that's when you will be able to separate truth from falsehood, that you will find right from wrong. Then you will find what benefit over loss. You're going to know what's going on, reality versus illusion. All different things will be start clearing to you. So it's a clarity, power to clarity, power to know, power to parak. Parak is very right word. That I know kon kitne pani mein. I know what's going on. Is somebody cheating me or not? All those things you will be connecting, will be very less chance of making wrong decisions. You will have much better decisions when you start. Suppose an employee and boss. Simple example, right? The employee does not do certain things what boss wants him to do, right? Now, what is he going to do? The employee comes up, suppose always late, or something what boss wants to do, right? Now he has to tell him. So he has to understand what's right from wrong. But your divine self says that no, not to create conflict, not to be angry, all those things. So now you know how to handle and how to use your knowledge, how to tell him, and with what energy you tell him. Like yesterday's I did it only, I don't even know now, looking back, that I probably used my low energy, the high energy, which affected him. Not my words sometimes, it's that how it came out. So with what energy you're going to tell your employee, are you going to react or you're going to respond? Response comes from the connection with the divine intelligence. That's when you start responding. And that's how you're going to connect. That's how you're going to be able to. But power to discern, like any other powers, is first to apply on you. So how are you going to discern your power about your thoughts? So we learn our thoughts. We are discerning what's right and wrong, what's, false or not truth. We're going to also learn what's reality, or this is my illusion. You're going to go ahead and see where is my benefit. You'll be able to see benefit in the future. Sometimes you may not be, but when the clarity comes, you will be able to see what are the benefits from mine right now to what's going to happen in future. That's very, very important. And then you can be a great manager, great benefit. You'll make so much money too. Though you, and I know those people will use money in a very right way. So it's good for them to make money because they're going to use it the way they think is right and useful. So when the benefit versus loss is clear, when the benefit which is going to happen 10 years from now, I may give in a little bit today because it's going to benefit me 10 years from now. All those start things becoming so clear. And that's why it's called power to discern. It's power to be clear, power to use your connect with your divine intelligence and start. People like me have to start trusting the divine way. That's my hard work I have to do because I'm not a religious person. And for me to trust somebody else, it's hard for me to make anybody guru because I don't know how come I don't trust people that much to be the highest universe. It's hard for me to believe there is something so hard. But now I have been doing it for a very last few months, especially a few years for sure, but few months slowly, I have started believing in a higher divine intellect that just within us. It's within us. There is no other entity which is doing it. But within us, you start realizing and you start trusting that there is a divine intelligence in us, within us. We just have to tap into that by having a trust and developing that trust. And to have these things, to have a power to discern after doing all the powers, but also trusting in the divine authority, divine yourself, and discerning your own thoughts first before you decide and discern any other situations. Discern, make sure you are not making any mistakes. You are not making wrongful decisions. You are not making money wrong way by cheating others. You are not thinking that other person loses and he doesn't make, he will lose and I make the profit. You are not thinking that way. When you start doing those discerning, your uncluttered mind connects to the divine of your own intelligence. And you trust that there is something like that. And once you develop that trust, there is no way, nothing looking back behind you. And that's when you develop the power to discern from right to wrong, false to truth, illusion to reality, benefit to loss. All these things keep coming only at that time. And that's when I would say that we are operating at the higher level. And you feel so good that you don't want to come down here. That's what I would say. What do you say, Sister Vino Ben? We both can be on the screen.
One moment.
You don't have to stay small.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So I like that idea. I was just while you were sharing, I was just reflecting back. Have I used this power to discern, and what were some of the incidences? Because for me, experience speaks louder. So I remembered one incident that happened quite a while ago, actually, maybe 2 years ago, when this new center here was, here in the Cerritos, when this new center was started. And, initially I was staying at the LA center for 15, 16 years. And then when this new center started, they needed somebody to be here. So I came here. And then a lot of students were already here because we had been coming and doing service and teaching classes at neighboring places, at Sanatana Dharma temples. So people were already having this knowledge, quite a few already established here. So when the center started, it was just, the word of mouth spread and more people started coming. But I remember there was one sister, and she was, of course, she came and she took the course, the meditation classes, and she was very interested. And she was very fond of socializing with everyone. So she liked to talk to everyone here and spend time. So I didn't. I thought this, I didn't suspect anything. But then I remember that she would only show up when there's gathering and this huge, like, when we used to have celebrations. She wouldn't come at any other time during the, when we have classes. Only when we have big gatherings, that's when she would come up. So I didn't suspect much. And I remember once she got something for Baba's house here for the center. She purchased something, and then she said, okay, this is for Baba's house, because as you know here that we operate, of course, as a family. Everyone shares, whether monetary or buying things or what's necessary here. And then I said, okay, thank you and everything. But then after that, slowly the topic came up, that she's a business person, and she sells this and she sells that, and this product and that product. And then she was saying, this will be very good for the center. It's only this much. So I started getting the catch, what was coming up. And then I started observing. I didn't say much. I said, we are very good here. We are well in the center. So, but thank you for letting me know about this product. And after that, I started observing that she would go to, in the gathering, this, many students would come, and she would go from one person to another person, and she started giving out her cards. But I could see some of the faces, they were not really comfortable. Some of the students, they were not really comfortable talking to her. They would just, for politeness sake, they would just listen, and then after that, they would leave. So then one of the student actually called and told me that, that she's promoting products here in the center, and she's like propagating, this is good, and do. So, and then I called the sister and said, sister, I would like to meet you. Can you please come to the center? And I sat with Baba, because I was like telling, okay, Papa, this is the situation. Because every decision that we make here, you check with God first, whether this is right or should it be done this way, and you'll get touching. That's how everything is done, because this is God's yagya. This is God's institution. This is God's teaching. We've surrendered our life to God, so we don't use our own mind and impose dictates. And a very, very strong feeling came to talk to her. Then that's when I called her. I told her to come, and then she came. And then I told her that, Ben, I know that your products must be very good, must be very, very reliable, but I just would like to request, this is a meditation place. Baba and business do not coexist here. So I just told her politely, I said, Ben, this is not a place for business. And so I would really appreciate that you do not talk about your products. Some of the students have expressed that they're not comfortable. And so I'm just letting you know. And then she was like, okay. And then after that, I didn't hear anything from her. I've not heard anything. I've not seen her. Um, and once in a while, I know she would come and she would show up and just, to meditate. But then I saw that she was having less and less interest for meditation. And again, after many months, again, the issue about the products would come up. And then I would say, Ben, you remember what I told you? And then I say, yeah, I'll get it. So, and then again, another 4 or 5 months would pass by, and then suddenly some message would come. So I sort of studied the pattern now, and I got it. And that is why each time, when she would say, can I get something for the center needs anything, I would politely say, no, no, we are good. We have everything. And I would just tell her, if we need something, I'll let you know. So it is, again, it's on a face value, and you may feel it's a good opportunity. But if you're not strong with principles, if I'm not strong on, if I don't know the situation well, if I don't observe well, then we can take decisions that later we regret, personally in all of our lives. The situation may show up in a very loving, very good way, seems as a very good opportunity, but if I don't observe well and if I don't check through and jump into a conclusion quickly, then it may turn out not the best option. So that is why, that first power is really the power to observe. Power to withdraw is the ability to observe through without judgments, but just seeing situation as it is, without correcting, without judging, but what is it really? Observe first. Then after that, check. Because power to discern first is only possible when there is power to observe. That's just one story, that because whoever comes here to Baba's house, it's definitely our duty to protect all of Baba's children that comes here. And it is also a duty that Baba's place should be a very, very peaceful place for people to come and meditate, and not that people start avoiding each other when they come here. That's not a good energy. It's not a good atmosphere. So I've seen quite some students, who do have these tendencies to spoil the atmosphere here. And before, if I were the old person, maybe 15 years ago, I would probably hesitate to tell them. I mean, I would say, well, how can we stop someone from not coming? It's not a good thing. They want to come to Baba's house. But then later I realized, do I want to win the heart of one and lose the rest? Or do I want to maintain Baba's principles and what is best here for everyone? And that is when I started, observing, yes, the courage to tell something to someone in a polite way. It also means to uphold what you truly believe and follow.
That
So
comes
this
next,
is
power to decide. That will be
exactly.
the power. Yeah. That's when after first you have to know what's right from wrong. Then you say, this is right. That's when you decide. That's the decision you make. This is right. And then
Yeah.
the power to face. These three powers work so beautifully together. Yeah. Very nice.
So that's just one sharing.
Anybody has any questions?
Let me just, please type your question. I did mention in the last class that when someone starts sharing, then in the recording, your face would come up. So we want to avoid that. That is why I muted all. So if you do have any question, please put it in the chat box so I'll ask this question and it will be answered. So is there anyone here who would like to ask their questions? I guess being the fifth power, they've already matured enough.
I think they're discerning right now whether their question is valid or not. They're trying to discern, right? It's a beautiful power, really beautiful power, but it comes only after you're connected with the divine. Your own intelligence tells you what's right and what's wrong. You don't need to hear from anybody. And when you have that intelligence telling you and guiding light is there, that's when you decide and then you carry on your function and reach to the next powers and powers. And that's the whole beautiful thing. This power is a connection, like the chakras. We have 7 chakras. So all the root chakra and the sacral chakra and whatever, and the bandha and everything, all those things, and then comes to Anahat chakra. So those chakras are physical. Their wheels are rotating enough. So bring your energy from down to bottom. We talked about chakra in length, right? I gave you a whole lecture on it, on the chakra first when we started, and then we went over all 7 chakras. And then this, when I gave you the science of the universe. And we talked about all this universe reacting to the chakras, right? So the connection here is at the Anahat chakra. Anahat is the 4th chakra. Now all the divine chakras. After the Anahat chakra comes this here, and then here, and then here. So crown chakra is the final ultimate intelligence. And then this, right now, the divinity, the most, right? So that's the connection. So this is what the 4th power and 5th power are. Right now, the power to discern is a beautiful connection of what you could do physically and in your all self at the emotional level. Now you are connecting with the divine level. So the rest of the powers is like a transition, slowly going up the slope, coming up here. So master those basic powers and you start connecting to your divine intelligence. And your intelligence will be the one who will help you get the power to know, power to understand, power to make the decision. I mean, before you make the decision, power to know where you are, what should be the right thing, what should be the real thing, right? So that's the power to discern. Now you're going up the ladder. Okay.
And another area where we need to discern is when we are shopping.
Yeah.
Right?
Right,
When we
definitely.
are shopping, is this necessary or it's okay, let me get it, it's on sale. I don't know when the sale is going to come next. So let me grab it now. And then it's probably just going to sleep, sit and sleep in the garage. So power to discern does come. And again, power to discern would come when, again, people who get multiple job offers, they need to discern the options, go here, go there, or people who get multiple scholarship offers to go to different universities. Sometimes people get confused, which one is better, where should I go, what decision should I take. So really this power comes only when I am clear of the purpose, when I'm clear what I want. Then I can see the options and say which option supports my need or my purpose.
That will help you to do the power to decide. So that's exactly. But first discerning is your own thoughts. First power to discern has to be utilized on your own thoughts. In your own, you have to sort them out. What's right from wrong, what's false from real, what's benefit versus loss. Those are the ones you really want to sort them out yourself first in your mind. So discern them. Then you can discern outside.
So
Okay.
there's a question here. Power to decide. Is it driven by the karma we are going to face?
We'll talk about it next time. We're gonna power to decide. Once you discern what's right and wrong, then it's easy to decide, right? So that's power to decide. But right now, power to learn, power to understand, power to know is the power to discern. You perceive things differently. You perceive things which are, you find that, this is obscure, but you perceive it. You kind of know. You have an internal instinct. You develop that instinct, which is considered power to discern. A lot of times you can tell ahead of the time how this particular person is before the things happen. That means you are not in Parchintan too much. You are in Swachintan, you're connecting to your divine. Right, Vinoben? What do you think?
Yeah, it's like I said, okay, there's another question. Okay, questions are slowly popping up. Your intellect is clouded by value system and sanskara. Then how do you know what is right and wrong? Okay, Very good question. What is right and what is wrong? So this is when we spoke about the first power to withdraw, is that withdraw first what people have shared, withdraw first from what you've heard, and go within and see what is it that you want. Oftentimes we suppress our conscience, we suppress our inner feelings because we feel this is right, this is what I was taught, this is the good thing to do, but I may not be happy. So my inner conscience is saying something else. And what I learned, the value system, what I learned from parents or school or religion or community is telling something else. So first is, this is where, do not look at the problem first, but check your internal feeling first. And give yourself some time. Sometimes it's very hard to determine what our conscience is saying when we are very emotional. It's very hard whether this feeling is coming out of emotion or this feeling is coming from my own conscience. Then give yourself some time. Do not try to think or make a decision when you're emotional. May not be the right one. Give yourself some time. Have a little patience. When you feel there is a little more clarity within, when there's a little more, when you feel like your emotions are reduced now, when you're reducing, then you evaluate, then you go and within and you find out why you felt that way, what happened, what is it that you want to do. Take some time out to you from you and ask this question. For sometimes you may get the answer readily within you. Sometimes, if for many years I have never learned, I've never listened, stopped and listened to what my heart has to say, then it probably will take some time for the heart to speak out. But have faith. That's why I say time is also needed. In this power to discern, patience is definitely needed. Do not hurry for an answer and don't jump to a conclusion easily, but just check. And then wait. The right answer will come to you at the right time. It's definitely an experience that I've had. I used to push through and try to find an answer quickly because I feel like, let me just do it and be done with it. But then I realized that the more I'm impatient to make a decision, to find an answer, it's less likely the decision that I make is going to bear fruit. So I've learned to wait, but I said, okay. And then I also connect with God. I connect with the Supreme Soul, connect with Baba. I said, okay, Baba, this is what it is. This is what I'm feeling. Baba, you guide me. And I wait and watch. And oftentimes things become very clear for me, even though there are many options, but one stand out the most than the rest. And that's exactly what I do. So again, if you're confused, then wait. Okay. Any other questions that you have? Okay. It's either they are still typing or there is no question. It's one of it.
I think they are in a mood of receiving. So that's
Okay. So if there are no questions, then should we head to meditation?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So someone says they have a question. What is your question? Okay, this person is still typing.
Hmm.
Um, that was what we actually, that was the, I typed it above. Yeah, that was the question we answered right now. Even if, even I decide something and very clear about it right now, but in future it turns out to be a wrong decision. Okay, sorry. I I saw the wrong question. Okay. So even I decide something and very clear about it right now, but in future it turns out to be a wrong decision. Okay. So what should we do? So first question, I mean, the first thing that we ask is when you say it becomes a wrong decision, that means was it something that I was particularly looking for and it didn't happen that way? And then I feel this is a wrong choice. Maybe the way it happened, it is presenting a new lesson for me. May not be what I was seeking, but it is presenting itself a new lesson to me. Because if we see in our life, we will constantly be meeting new people or people of different attitude exactly for the purpose where a certain personality change, when I need to work within me, when there is something needed in me, and exactly that's the person that would come in my life to teach me that lesson. And so, like you shared that you made a good choice, you made a good decision because you felt this was right thing to do at this moment. And then it turns out something else. The result turns out to be something else, something that you didn't expect. And so maybe there was something for you to learn through that result. May not be what you expected, but what it presented itself was probably what you needed to know or work. Have any of you ever, Jayshree, have you ever experienced something like this?
I think pastor usually teaches us from this and we move on. Before I knew my powers, I'm sure I was not connecting to the divine. Even now, it takes a little while. So, but little bit, I am blessed from the youngster because I have a habit of forgetting things, which is a good power to let go. And that I have been gifted from I was young. Some to the point that sometimes I say, how come I don't remember? I should remember that. I should not respond to that. So, but and when you start connecting to your divine, you'll start making less and less, and you'll make very, very good decisions where you will be. So try to connect to yourself and your own knowledge more than asking few more people. Try not, because they have their own way of perceiving things. And you have good knowledge, you know what you want, what's right from wrong, what's beneficial to you. So if we made a mistake, that's okay. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. If we dwell on it, oh, why did I do it and everything, you can ask yourself why you did it, and then you can learn from it just to find out. But never ever let that stop you to make a progress. That's for sure.
That's another question. I have a problem. I can't let go.
Let's talk about what is a particular thing you cannot let go, and then I'll talk about it again.
So this idea of letting go, um, I think one of the big reason why we could be holding on to something is again we haven't understood about it. Again, before the power to let go is power to withdraw means to observe, to contemplate, to try to understand situation. But if we are merely focusing on the tone, the words, the actions, the body language, it is definitely going to be hard to let go. But am I able to understand the subtle message, the subtle cue behind it? I can't forget unpleasant experiences. So, whenever this experience comes in, ask yourself, what did I learn from it? Even if it's a negative experience, but something you could have realized from it. There's no such thing as no experience will teach me something. But there is something that I could learn. And if I can pick that up, then each time this memory comes up, you can say, so what? It's okay. It happened then. I learned and I'm a better person now. So keep telling yourself, so what? I'm a better person now.
So what personality, I call it. When I sometimes teach people, I say, so what personality? Develop that personality. So what? So what? But also when you collecting,
Do something right.
you know, like when you pay something for something you get. This is what I used to tell my kids when they were growing up, that you don't mind paying whatever gift you buy, right? Say $5, and you gifting somebody for $5. That $5, or just say my dress, right? There is a price for this one. There's a price for this one. I don't mind paying for that, right? There's a price. But when you're trying to collect the experience, we don't see the unseen value that there is a price also. So when you're trying to gift somebody, you know, okay, they're giving gift to my employees. He's not a very high ranked employee. Let me give a lower kind of gift. That's what suppose if you think. But suppose if you give a little bit more than what you give, this gap, how much goodwill is in there? When you keep your hand high, and if it goes high just because of few dollars more, it's a bargain. It's a bargain. If you can ever buy a goodwill from somebody for a few dollars, anytime if you can buy it, period, $1 or $500 or $5 million, if you can buy a goodwill from anybody, most of the time you cannot buy with the money. But if you can buy it with the goodwill with the money, it's a bargain. Same thing when you buy it, you're buying an experience. So it doesn't look like it's a dress or material, something that you put a price on, but you bought something. And if you can buy from the mistake, suppose of you losing few dollars, that you made a wrong decision and you lost, you bought a big experience. So there's a price tag for that. So if there is a price tag, it's usually a bargain, because you don't get those things easily. So goodwill, let go of what thing I can explain you better, of let go a person's problem, somebody's experience, a loss or fight, or somebody misbehaved with you. So is it a situation? If you write down a little more, then I can tell you the steps to help you let go.
So there's one last question we will take, and before we end, it says, what happens when what you learn from bad experience still hurts you? So definitely a lot of experiences that we've gone through, even though we are able to now understand that what I've learned or what I've become from that experience, even though it could be a good lesson, but the fact that I was triggered, the fact that those emotions, the emotions of pain or the emotions of disappointment that I've gone through, those emotions will come up along with the lesson that I learned, and these emotions will come up. So each time it comes, let me tell myself, it's okay. I learned now. It's again, so what that happened? It's fine. I didn't know better. I learned now. I understand now. Let me tell myself this again and again and again until it gets drilled in me. This is very important. There is not one thing that you can do that this feeling will vanish. This feeling has gone very deep, that it's not a one day thing that I do one thing and this feeling will not come back. We will have to drill into our subconscious level again and again. I say, it's fine. So what? It has happened. I learned now. I'm better now. I learned now. I am better now. And the more and more I keep repeating this, the less and less this feeling will affect me. And eventually, I guarantee you, this feeling of hurt or disappointment will subside, because now you have replaced it with realization.
Right?
You've
And
replaced it. Yeah.
the power to let go has definite advantages, which I have written down in my, if you listen to our lecture on power to let go with Sister Vino, and also on my 8 spiritual powers on the YouTube, 8 spiritual powers, it says very clearly that what are your losses by not letting it go. So what is smartness? Spirituality is a smartness. Why would you increase your loss? Suppose if your loss was 50%, now you added to made it 51% because you lost out in that 1%, which you could be doing something else, but you replaced it with the past. You lost your present. All the potentials, all the benefits, all those things, and also in the process, created a layer of glacier which can hurt you physically. So all those steps are written down very nicely. So be smart. Power to let anything, all spirituality is being smart. It's a pure business with yourself. Where do I get damaged? How do I get hurt? My emotional quotient goes up, my layer of glacier is there in between, my physical health goes down. I lost my present moment for what I can never recover. What happened? So 50% loss is never going to change. But you are adding on to that, making it 51, 52, 53, because you lost those many moments, which you could be using it for the fun thing. If I keep on dwelling on what my husband did or my friend did, what happened? They did already. That's never going to change because that's why it's called did. Now, what are you doing now? You're increasing and you are not even enjoying the present moment. You are not to yourself. You are not using your energy to the highest. You are not to the highest potential because you're replacing your thoughts. And wherever attention goes, energy flows. So you're depleting your energy. When you deplete your energy, you cannot function at the best time. So you lose out on the pleasure of the present too. So it's totally a loss when you hold on to that. Once you start realizing it, why is it difficult to let go? Because there's a familiarity in there. There's justification in there, in what we do. We live as a victim life. We justify our actions right now. Oh, because something happened, I have to behave like this. Of course, I'm going to be like, that's a victim. That's not a powerful thing. Look inside, you are very powerful. Don't let somebody else take over your power. Then you become the victim. That's not what spirituality teaches us. It teaches us use your own power. You don't want anybody else to take the power over you. That situation or that person or that incident or whatever happened, powering over you, sign of weakness. You don't want that. Where is the spirituality here? You are not being smart. Yeah. Look at that way and you'll be able to let go.
Okay, so shall we head to meditation and we can end the session?
Yes. Let's do that.
Okay. So let me sit comfortably and let me check what I've learned. And also let me reflect back if there are some things that I'm still holding, that I'm unable to get through those feelings. Now is the time for me to work on it. Now is the time I tell myself that whatever had to happen, happened. And it happens that way so I can learn the lesson. And now that I've learned the lesson, let me remind myself that it doesn't matter It's fine. I let you go. I learned. And thank you for making me experienced. Thank you for teaching me. I'm a better person now. Let me keep repeating this to myself every time. And let me begin to feel that what I experienced definitely was an advantage to my growth. And let me not feel small or a victim of what happened. Let me encourage myself every moment, at every step. Go on, go on. You're mature now. You learned now. I'm with you. Go on. Let me encourage myself this. Om Shanti.